What's important to this company is that we take whatever's been designed into that particular application or vehicle. We look at what's been done. Our testing validates what actually happens through that stock air box or that stock filter. And then we look for ways to improve any of the three attributes that are important to an air filter. The first one is airflow or pressure drop. The second one is its efficiency. In other words, what size particles of dirt does it stop? And the third one is its overall building up of dirt or its capacity.
When we run a dyno test, what we're looking to do is measure the performance of the vehicle, the total vehicle system, the engine and the drivetrain, and measure horsepower and torque. And the point of that is so that we can understand what changes in the intake tract do to the performance of the vehicle. To a driver, it makes a big difference if you have more horsepower, you have better engine response, a little bit more torque, and those things are the reasons why people want to buy a high-performance air filter. It's the most common reason.
Yeah,
the dynamometer allows us to start with a stock vehicle and do a baseline run and measure the performance of that vehicle, and then we can make changes, such as just simply dropping in a K&N air filter and measuring a before and after. And typically, with a drop-in air filter, we can measure a 1 to 2% difference in the power output of the engine by changing the air filter to a high-flow air filter.
Every intake kit that we develop is tested on our 3 chassis dynos. We have 1 two-wheel drive dyno, and we have 2 all-wheel drive dynos. And when we develop an intake kit, every car will be brought in. We will do a development prototype tube, heat shield, air filter, pretty much everything will be just a prototype. When we get the horsepower gains that we feel comfortable with, what we'll do is we'll bring in another 3 to 4 more vehicles to verify that the gains that we got in the first vehicle will be verified on the other 3 to 4 that we bring in. And then once we are happy with that, we will go into production, and that's where our guarantee on horsepower comes from.
We test our air filters on a flow bench because that's a great way to do comparative testing for how restrictive an air filter is. Those flow benches originally were designed to measure carburetor or intake manifold restriction, and they're used by most filter companies to test air filter performance. And they allow us to compare 2 air filters of the same type and measure the difference in airflow. The way a flow bench works is it measures the amount of restriction in the air filter at a particular flow rate. And flow bench, most typical setting for a flow bench is to flow the filter with 1.5 inches of water pressure drop